All right, welcome back to the Unbridled Living in Costa Rica podcast. Hey, it's the only channel giving you the whole truth about Costa Rica, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's simply because, we don't have any other kind of products and services to sell you. So we're not trying to talk you into coming to Costa Rica, but if you are interested in coming to Costa Rica, we want to give you the facts. We want to give you the truth so that you'll be well equipped. And today, man, we're going to be talking about once you decide to come to Costa Rica, then you got to figure out what do you do with all your stuff. Well, for us, we've had a storage unit for almost 11 years, paying $55 a month. Calculate that. Don't tell me. I don't want to know how much I've spent already. But we're going to be talking about all of that good stuff. Man, do you ship it? Do you can it? Do you get rid of it? Do you kick it to the curb? Do you give it away? We'll share our story, what we did, and hey, maybe give you some ideas on what you can do. But hey, if this is your first time here, who the heck are we, and why would you want to listen to us? Well, I'm Alan, that good-looking chick over there. Well, that's Rebecca, and together we've been in Costa Rica since November 2013.
Right.
That's a long time, almost 11 years. So we've lived all over the place, just really having a great time, just learning all about Costa Rica before we found our slice of paradise here 3 years ago. Now, before we dive into all this good stuff, what's been happening on the off-grid homestead?
It's not even funny.
No, it ain't funny.
We got some stuff done.
Look, you saw last week, I had the countertop looking so pretty. And look, admittedly, it was my fault because I share the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't pretend to be somebody I'm not. Hey, I've never had to stain and never had to put varnish on a countertop. And I was always the gopher. My dad would do a lot of that stuff. I learned a lot of stuff. I love to supervise it anyway. Long story short, it had bubbles in it, looked pretty. So as you know, in the last video, I sanded it all off. And so this week, I spent a lot of time sanding. And boy, it just took a long time getting it back down to the bare wood, to start over. And I would show you a video today, but hey, that video just shows you, I'm sanding, I'm varnishing. I'm sanding, I'm varnishing. So not a very interesting video this week.
We put 6 coats of varnish, huh? Stain, 6 coats of stain.
6 coats of stain. Now, gotta say though, tell them though, what did you? I mean, last week you heard me because a couple of videos ago, she kind of wanted a lighter stain than I did. But this time, what does the stain look like?
The color you wanted.
Oh, she wants my color. Hey, I'm never wrong. I mean, I thought I was wrong one time. I was only mistaken. Anyway, 6 coats of stain.
Last time I actually wanted to go a little darker, but you had so much trouble. I hated to ask you to do another coat. This time we just went for it. We said we're going to bottle. We're going to put every...
Look, we went 6 coats because I ran out of stain. I think if I had more stain, we'd have gone 7, 8, 9 coats. I don't know. Anyway, maybe the next time we meet, I'll be able to give you an update video on what's been happening on the off-grid homestead. This time I spent a ton of time just really sanding it down, staining it. It looks good. Got a little bit more work done, not much. But hey, good news is that I believe we are transitioning into dry season. We actually had 2.5 days of no rain. I'm counting and a half day because, at this time of the year, rainy season, it rains so much. You get tired of it. I mean, it just rains so much. But anyway.
Yeah, it's not like that the whole rainy season, but it seems to culminate at the end.
Yeah.
Like it just really rains a whole lot every day.
By the time October gets here, you are so tired of rain, and that's when it just really pours.
And then the summer starts. I mean, the dry season.
The dry season starts, and so it really begins to transition the last week or two of October. So anyway, it's getting there, and it's really looking good. A lot of folks are jumping in, and welcome everybody. You're Randy, Eduardo, Kayleigh, Randy,
Karen, and Pam.
Karen, Pam. Hey, it's Pamela Teal. How are you? That's our Southern girl. Uh, so, and I think Pam, I think you and Tom are coming real soon. Aren't we supposed to be meeting up next month? So, lots of great people. Oh, wait a minute. No way. Check this out. I'm going to have to ban this dude. He says, can't watch till after the Madison Square Garden mega rally. Wait a minute. I'm throwing you off the channel. You put Trump over me? Wait, I'm running for president next time.
I almost didn't show up either.
Can you believe that? Rebecca almost didn't show up. I'm like, what you doing over there? I'm watching the rally. I'm on what? We're having our own rally over here. Get out.
I have my earpiece.
See that? She's still listening to Trump in this ear and pretending to listen to me on the other ear. Get out. Get out of here. All right. Hey, I agree with you. Hey,
I sure hope so, Doug.
Last week we talked about predictions, okay? Wait a minute. Yes, I do. Hey, everybody, say salute. Okay, look, one of the words you got to learn in Costa Rica, salute. That's cheers. Cheers.
Hey, while I'm thinking of it, we're not going to be here next Sunday.
Oh, okay. So before we do get started, I want to remind you guys, next Sunday, got a little bit of a business trip going on. So won't be here next Sunday, and we'll follow up the following Sunday. Okay. So, and so anyway, I'm excited about that. And I do want to bring up, because Randy says, well, what if neither one wins? Okay, Randy, if Trump doesn't win or Kamala doesn't win, who might win? Now, I'm on the ballot, but I don't expect many people to vote for me. So who might win other than me? And, I've got to throw this out there. Last week, we talked about, the election a little bit. And I said, be respectful, be nice. I'm not for Trump. I'm not for Kamala Harris. I'm for policies. I'm a Christian first, and I vote based on the policies that line up with me.
Right.
And I said, be respectful.
The person. You're not marrying the person.
Yeah, I'm not marrying either one of them, okay? But
and you're never going to agree with what
it just so happens that Trump's policies line up more with my personal beliefs. And I said, be respectful. It's not about one candidate over the other, okay? It's about policies, and it's about who I am as a person. Would you believe the only people that was nasty, the only people that said ugly things, the only people that I'm unsubscribing were Kamala Harris people? Come on. Just not respectful.
I know. That's why I didn't want to say anything, because that's how they're very vicious.
It's crazy. So anyway, hey, get out of town. So Pamela says we voted early, plus we fly an American flag. So if you know, you know. All right, Pamela. Hey, Pamela, let me know when you're coming. Are we supposed to be like going out to eat? And I think like Tom said, I can eat whatever I want to, and he's buying. Is that right? All right. So, okay. So let's get into today's topic. So today we are talking about your stuff. Okay, so when you move here now, here's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Obviously now for us, what did we do with the majority of our stuff, Rebecca? And this is kind of crazy because Rebecca came back we were at a farmer's market and talking to this girl, and who said that she dreamed about going to Costa Rica. And hey, 30 days later, we were in Costa Rica with 10 suitcases and a dog. Didn't even know the first word of Spanish, like how to go to the bathroom or anything. Okay. So we had a ton of stuff.
We didn't know how to go to the bathroom?
Didn't even know how to go to the bathroom. Didn't know how to ask, where's the bathroom? I peed in my pants for 2 weeks before I figured out how to ask, where's the baño? So, anyway, we didn't know the first word of Spanish. Anyhow, but we had a ton of stuff. What did we do with our stuff?
Well, first we did kind of like a garage sale, and a lot of our stuff sold. Our Jeep and our trailer, and cargo trailer, and all the tools, all the stuff that was in the trailer. The same person bought it all, and then we just had the pickup truck. So somebody else bought the pickup truck. Then we had kind of an apartment sale for the apartment building. We said invited all of our neighbors, come pick up what you want. And then the bigger things that were more valuable, like the bedroom set and the TV and stuff like that, we gave to our children.
Yeah. So we got rid of most of our stuff. It's pretty miraculous. I mean, our stuff just kind of like disappeared like that. We had a lot of stuff. Now, so here's the thing is, should you bring your stuff? Should you ship it? Should you not? And let's talk about the pros and cons of both of it. Now, we came over with 10 suitcases and a dog, and we intentionally, we rented a furnished place, and then after that, we got us a little place, and we just kind of started. We had blow up furniture until we figured out where we wanted to live. We rented all over the place, and we tried to go as light as possible, really disposable furniture, believing that we would find a place quickly, but we didn't find a place quickly. Actually, the reality is that the first month that we were in Costa Rica, we found this place where we're at today. But the guy wanted way too much money. And so we just kind of hopped around, looking around. And hey, 8 years later, we finally ended up here. So anyway, but the question is, let's talk about if you decide to ship your stuff. If you ship your stuff, you have to really be planning. Well, let's not talk about shipping your stuff first. Let's talk about getting rid of your stuff. And then we're going to talk about the pros and cons of shipping. So for me, we didn't know any better, and we just got rid of everything. We weren't planning on shipping stuff. Now, we couldn't get rid of everything. Everybody's got stuff you can't get rid of. Tons of photo albums, stuff that has sentimental value, stuff that's priceless, right? And I've got thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of tools that I really want to bring. So anyway, the stuff that we didn't get rid of and stuff that I knew I wanted to keep and hoped I would ship to Costa Rica one day, we put in a storage unit. Hey, the storage unit, I don't know, 10 by 10. But anyway, 20 foot or something. Anyhow, I've been paying $55 a month for 11 years. And here's what I wished I'd have done. I wished every time we went to the United States, I'd have brought a suitcase of tools back. And that's what we've started doing here recently, is now bringing a little bit at a time here. Okay. Now, the question is, well, why don't you just ship it here? And so, I'll talk about that. But in my opinion, this is just my opinion, knowing what I know now, I would just, unless you have very valuable stuff like tools, get rid of everything. Get rid of your cars, get rid of every single thing. It's actually cheaper to replace it all once you get here, because the whole gimmick on shipping your stuff here, it can get expensive, and you can find someone honest to help you ship your things, but it is a serious hassle. So here's what's important to note. When you do ship your stuff here, okay, it's got to get in that container, but when it goes in that container, you can't just like start packing boxes like you're moving, to the state next door to you. Everything in that box has got to be itemized, okay? So, you've got to have, let's just say, for example, you pack all your stuff, you got to have every box counted. So if you got 100 boxes, it better be 100 boxes. You got to have this itemized list, and everything's got to be itemized. If for some reason customs checks your container, and they check every one, and that container says it's got 100 boxes and there's 101, your stuff could get stuck in customs for a long time. Okay. So the important thing to realize is that while some people have been lucky to get their stuff in, all the experience that I've had with customs, it's almost as if they're looking for a way to charge you more or keep your stuff. So you have to understand that when you're bringing stuff in, it's important. They want to know what's in every box. And if you don't have an itemized list, they're going to open up every single box, and they're going to check some boxes because they're going to charge you an import fee for everything that comes in. And it's just all dependent on what it is.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I seem to remember that they want that itemized list because they have like a database of, let's say you bring in, I don't know, a camera, then they look it up on their database and find out what it's worth. Is that just in mailing stuff, or am I remembering wrong?
No, you're remembering right, because the one thing is there's a lot of things that they won't let you bring, like I don't know the stuff. And then I'm thinking about getting this one guy that used to be at my relocation retreats and having him be a guest speaker and give you more detailed information on that if you guys think it'd be worth your time. But there's a lot of things you can't bring. Like, for example, if you're bringing your clothes and you got a ton of clothes, then you can't have any used underwear in your container coming to Costa Rica because they're afraid that you're either going to sell it or give it, So there's a lot of stuff you can't have, and it's kind of weird. No used underwear? Nope. Throw away all your used underwear, and you gotta buy brand new underwear. But how many people have that much underwear?
You can bring it in your suitcase.
You can bring it in your suitcase. So hey,
just like cosmetics and lotions.
We had 10 suitcases coming here. 2 suitcases were full of nothing but Rebecca's underwear. So.
Crazy.
Her lingerie and TMI. No. So there's just something. There's just some things that Costa Rica will not let you bring. So it's very different what you can bring on a plane versus what you can bring in a container. And it can, on a plane, you can bring a bunch of vitamins and supplements. In a container, you can't bring them vitamins and supplements. There's a big difference on what you can bring.
You can't have it meld in either.
Yeah.
Not without getting approval. You can for some things, but it's got to go through a separate approval process.
Right. And when I said I've had a lot of bad experience with customs. So, I had one box and it had like $200 worth of really good stuff, electronics, but I had a couple of bottles of supplements. It got stuck in customs, okay? And customs are like, you can't bring these in without getting this certification, that certification. So you got to get it. I went to doctors. I did all this crazy stuff. And it means every time I brought it, something else. I said, well, look, just keep the supplements and give me the rest of this stuff. No, it's all or nothing. It's like they're looking for an excuse. So I just ended up losing $200 worth of my stuff that I had bought, brand new stuff, because I didn't have what was needed for the supplements because I didn't know they wouldn't let them in.
Plus, it took so long to do all the things that they wanted. You had to make a doctor's appointment. It was just a bunch of stuff. And for every day that it was being stored in customs, they were charging.
That's right.
By the time all that got settled, remember, it was like the custom charges that we would have had to pay was more than what the stuff was worth.
What it was worth.
So we just keep it.
Yeah. So, Randy asked a question, where can I learn what's not allowed? And that's why I say, I've got one guy that I'm really thinking about having him as a guest speaker, because so anyway, I gotta find out, but that guy would be a good guy to talk to, if I have him on as a guest speaker, and he could tell you what's allowed, what's not allowed. Well, it is kind of difficult.
I found out some of that stuff on a website, the U.S. Embassy website for Costa Rica.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they have a list of things that you cannot bring in to the country, that you can't have shipped in, but it's a website and you don't know how updated. Like, right. We often say, because it's been our experience about, like, you can't bring lotion and, body lotion and cosmetics and things like that. They have like some health rules. You have to go through the health ministry. And, but that may have changed since. So just check the websites. Right. I mean, Google it and it should bring you to.
Yeah, the bad thing is sometimes websites are outdated. Now,
right. That's maybe make a phone call.
Right. I would say that the most stuff, the majority of the things that you're going to bring. I mean, if you're going to bring furniture, bed, look, it's just not worth it for the import fees and all of that stuff. So the only time I would ship stuff is if you've got a bunch of tools like I do, okay? And then you would bring all your tools, and I just haven't made the time to get with someone and find out what it's going to cost, okay?
Plus, we checked into containers. Do you remember that time? We checked into containers, and we could find a shipping container for like 3,000-4,000. I think one was 5,000. But there's all kinds of regulations with these shipping containers.
Yeah, it was an old container. They inspect these containers.
They have to be seaworthy. So you're going to pay more because it has to be seaworthy and it has to meet all kinds of codes. Then you've got to get it to the dock.
Yeah, but we were trying to buy a container. In most cases, when you're shipping, you don't have to buy a
Oh,
container.
that's right. We wanted to buy
We
it.
wanted to buy the container so that whenever it got here, I wouldn't
We
have to
could
unload it.
use
I could
it.
just haul it way up here
Yeah.
up the mountain. See,
And then we
most
could
cases,
use it
people
for a
don't have to
shed.
buy the container. That's why they charge. And you know, I don't know the exact prices on what they charge to ship your stuff. So, I mean, you're going to spend several thousands of dollars to ship your stuff in a container, and then you're going to have to pay import fees. Now, Costa Rica did have this new tax incentive, but it's expiring. And so, you know, and in order to get that tax incentive, you know, you had to get your residency, and it wasn't until after your residency. Residency takes a long time. It can really be just a nightmare to do all of that stuff. Now, Karen says, hey, I want to bring a lot of kitchen gadgets, and I'm a foodie. And
For sure. That's worth it, Karen.
you know, most of those kitchen gadgets, Karen, I think you could bring in suitcases. Just make a
Right.
few trips and bring them, because you know, remember.
But that's what I'm saying. It's worth bringing those because they're little. Most of them they can fit in your suitcase. Because I have a hard time finding quality kitchen gadgets.
Yes.
Now I can go to San Jose, you know that, but that's you know they have quality things there. But it's just hard to find in the United States. You have so much selection.
All
You know,
over.
like I had this vegetable peeler from Pampered Chef, and it was the best vegetable peeler I'd ever used. Well, they don't have anything like that here. Nothing
well,
that compares.
I mean, remember we came down here because we like to eat a lot of salads, and you couldn't find a salad spinner anywhere.
No, we
you know?
finally found a salad
Yeah.
spinner.
Now, so, but as we've, you know, the longer we're here, and I get to, you know, because I just hate going to San Jose, but if you go to San Jose, you go to Price Smart. Matter of fact, I was in Price Smart last week. Man, you can find some, because when we first came here, we had a Ninja, and we bought a Ninja in the United States, brought it with us because you couldn't get a Ninja here. Well, now you can go to Price Smart. Now, if you go to Price Smart, you can buy some pretty decent kitchen gadgets. Matter of fact, not only now Price Smart, you're going to find some higher quality stuff, and you can actually get some Ninjas at Price Smart.
Yeah.
Now,
but we didn't know about that when we first got here.
Well,
I
when
don't
we
even
first
know
got-
they
no.
had Price Smart.
they had Price Smart, but they didn't have Ninjas at the time in Costa Rica
Okay.
at that time.
And so I remember shopping and I remember we went down south first around the San Vito area, which was underdeveloped as far as stores and shopping options. And I'm telling you, the only thing I could find in the line of like rice cooker and blender and things like that were things that you get at the dollar store, you know, that you can buy like for $10 at the dollar store. And like a rice pot was, what was it, like $40? And it was a little no-name brand, you know, rinky-dink knockoff.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can buy a lot of crap kitchen gadgets. Matter of fact, you know, we got a new store in San Ysidro called Pequeño Mundo. Pequeño Mundo, yeah, and look, sometimes it doesn't matter. Pequeño Mundo has a lot of salad spinners, you know. If I'd have known, but they didn't have them down here. So, you know, there's a lot of little kitchen gadgets that doesn't matter as far as quality goes. Like a salad spinner, come on, it's not that expensive. Wears out, go get another one.
Yeah, but they didn't have that when we first came.
They did.
And do you remember us seeing Pequeño Mundo in San Jose? We both thought it was a children's store.
I thought it was a toy store because that sign looks like it's a children's store.
It looks like a Toys R Us, and so we never even went in it.
Right. Didn't
just,
know.
The colors and the signs, it looked like
a kid's store. I'm not going to a kid's store, you know. So, you know, if you don't know.
And Pequeño, you know, it's like children's world, small world.
You know, small world, small kids world. So, you know, that's why we share what we share, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, we share our mistakes along with, you know, our successes. Yeah. So anyway, now Jimmy asked a great question. Jimmy says, well, what if I just drive down? Border inspection is harder shipping container. Now, I've actually, don't tell anybody, but I've actually been thinking about doing that same thing because I really don't have that much stuff. So what I've been thinking about possibly doing is I think, I wouldn't do anything like maybe a cargo van or anything because they're going to want to open it up and inspect it and all that. But here's what I think. I'm not suggesting you do this. Here's what I think. I think if you had one of them small handicap buses that, people turn these buses into schoolies and stuff, I think you could probably get a cheap handicap bus or a cheap schoolie, a cheap school bus. Put all your stuff in there and boxes and stuff and drive it down. Now, there are challenges with driving, but hey, there are people that have drove from the United States, Costa Rica. And so I think you could probably get all your stuff here, because I don't think you're going to, I don't know, but I haven't heard anyone say they've had challenges coming across the border with their vehicles. Okay. People have actually drove. Now, depending on how much stuff you got, maybe they would. I just don't think they would. I think you could, but I'm being honest. I honestly don't know how much trouble you would have. I don't think you would have a lot of trouble. I really think you could bring your stuff through the border. Here's the problem. Once you got your vehicle to the border, okay, it doesn't matter. Get all your stuff loaded in, and I'm not saying do anything dishonest. Your stuff would be here, and then your problem is your vehicle. Your vehicle can only be here for a certain amount of time before you have to convert it to a Costa Rican vehicle with Costa Rican tags, pay import fees, or put it up on blocks, and then you never drive it again. That's why I say just go an old schoolie or something like that, and then drive it over. But if you had a good truck or something, anyway, I think that would be a good option. That's just my thought, Jimmy. So I hope that answers your question.
My advice is don't spend a lot of money bringing stuff down right away.
Yeah.
Because you might spend a few months here, a year here, and then just decide that, because it happens all the time. We're still here, but we thought about leaving a lot of times.
Definitely don't come down here and the first year bring all your stuff. Come down here, rent a year, find out whether you're going to like it, because really, in all honesty, there's just a lot of stuff that drive me nuts. And it took me, I honestly have to say, it took me about 8 years before it took me getting to this piece of property before I could calm down, because it would drive me nuts. Some of the stuff that happened, it just drove me nuts.
It just depends on your personality.
Yeah, it depends on your personality. Rebecca stayed pretty calm. She's already Tika and didn't know it. So, it's just, you've got to learn. So,
but there's not much investment in you bringing your suitcases.
Right.
Loading them down. We had, I think, 2 suitcases filled with computer stuff. Maybe
we had 2 or 3 suitcases full of computers.
Yeah, and we got questioned, but we just explained that we work online, and we both had at that time desktops and laptops and tablets, because all of our work is done online. But they let us through, and we were very glad. I don't know if it's still like this, but we were very glad that we brought our monitors, because when our monitor went out, we had no idea how difficult it was to find a good monitor.
And it was crazy, insane expensive, because where we was at, you know.
But now that we know, in Jose, if we would have known from the beginning how many things you can find in San Jose, we probably would not have wasted all the time that we did trying to find things in the southern region. We would just made a trip to San Jose, but because we'd landed at night and we just kind of drove through, we drove around for hours trying to find our way, because there's no,
it took us forever to get out of San Jose.
There were no street signs and nothing was open. And we finally found a 24-hour Denny's that somebody was able to help us.
Drawn map to get us out.
But we just drove straight down south. And so we didn't explore San Jose. We didn't really know anything about San Jose. And we kind of thought that all of Costa Rica was like where we were down south on the border of Panama, San Vito. It's 10 years now, but so it's developing. It has developed, but then it just really wasn't. Didn't have a Walmart. It had very few grocery stores.
Yeah, it was difficult for us to get anything when we first came here. Everything was crap. I mean, everything was very, very cheap stuff. But you have to understand, that's what Costa Ricans are used to buying. Cheap crap, and answer. But hey, here's a good question that Kara says. Well, hey, if you can't ship your supplements, can't ship your makeup, can't ship your underwear, can you bring supplements, makeup, etc. in your suitcase? Yes, you can just about bring anything you want in your suitcase, with the exception of the normal stuff that you see at the airports. They're not going to let you bring in unwrapped food, and you're not going to be
No
able to bring in
seeds.
feeds. There's a few things, but when it
They're
comes
very
to
tight rules about your pets.
yeah,
Make sure you don't just try to arrive here with your pet because without going through all the paperwork, because we've heard horror stories of pets getting stuck in customs
and being
and
separated from the
and then it caused the pet great
and it's not
distress.
that difficult because all you
It's
had to do
not.
was
But
it's
you
not
have
difficult.
to get, just like when you're applying for a residency, you have to get your paperwork apostilled or apostilled. You have to get your veterinarian. I learned this the hard way, but I thought reading on the website, all I had to do was get papers from my vet. Well, it turned out we ended up having to what do you call it, extend our plane tickets because when we went to board, no, we didn't board, we were doing something with our tickets. Anyway, I can't remember exactly how it went, but at some point close to when we were leaving, we found out that the paperwork that I had was not sufficient. It had to be kind of like apostilled by certain veterinarians
not
in
every
the
veterinarian could do it.
Right, it had to be special veterinarians.
And
So
it's
we
not
have to go.
difficult, but you've
No,
got to have that process
and if you're
done.
pressed for time, remember the
Yeah.
only one that we could find was in Texas, and that was close to us. So anyway, it was if just do your research.
So long story short, Kara, you can bring just about anything that you want in your suitcases, as far as the norm. And when you go to the airport, they say you can't bring it, So anyway, you can bring just about anything. Now, and it's like Karen said here. Karen says, I never saw myself packing my Ninja or my Ninja grill or my KitchenAid mixer in a suitcase. But yeah, absolutely, it's well worth it for you. Now, you can buy a Ninja here at like I said, Price Smart. Going to cost you a lot more.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't want to pack, okay, don't pack it.
Because those things are imported. So there's a price.
They pay import fees. So anyway, but if you've got one, put it in your suitcase, bring it, make a few trips, well worth it. Because look, I do the majority of the cooking here in at the house, and I love to cook, and I cook huge amounts. And I use our my favorite kitchen tool is our
that Ninja blender?
No, the
chopper?
Yeah,
food processor.
Yeah, food processor. So I love the food processor because, man, I use that food processor a whole lot. Process all of Nikki's food and veggies and all that stuff. So a food processor, you just can't find that in Costa Rica. So make sure you have a food processor if you like a food processor.
Any of these high quality things, especially if you're, like Karen is saying, a foodie. But funny story with our Ninja when we get to the airport, and sometimes stuff, we got a little bit too much in one suitcase, and so now we've learned how to weigh it before we get there.
We get to the airport.
But still, even weighing it on on a home scale is not the same. So anyway, we got to the airport, and one of our bags was a little bit over. So we're on the airport floor opening our suitcases, and remember, you quickly took the blades of the blender of the Ninja and put it into another suitcase, and those Ninja blades are super sharp, and didn't realize how sharp they are. And you wrapped it in my blanket.
It was a good blanket.
It was a good one of my favorite blankets. And when we got here, my poor blanket was all cut up.
Like it'd been through the blender. Anyway, as so you definitely have to be careful. I can't pronounce this. Zedways asked, well, where did you guys end up buying? And we ended up way up in the mountains in Perez Zeledon. Perez Zeledon is one of my most favorite areas. Been all over the place, and Perez Zeledon is really a nice place. Okay.
Stop telling the people that.
That's right. Rebecca don't want me telling you to come to Perez Zeledon because it's too full of gringos now. So anyway,
my Band-Aid's coming off.
But now Rick asked a question. Can you order anything from Amazon or anywhere else? Now, the answer is yes and no. Okay, so and the problem comes with customs. Okay, Amazon being as large as they are, if you go to Amazon, you just have to make sure. So let's just say that you're shipping it to Costa Rica. Make sure that you change the address to Costa Rica. And in that way, because there's a lot of third-party stores and a lot of places do not ship outside the United States. So you have to make sure that you change the address to Costa Rica so they know you're shipping to Costa Rica. And that way, let's say you're looking for a Ninja. Okay, change your address, in there so that it says that you're shopping from Costa Rica or sending to Costa Rica. And that way, any third-party sellers that will ship to the Costa Rica will. Now, when they do, you're going to pay the import fees and all that. And I bought a pair of tennis shoes from Amazon, and the customs fee, the import fee was half. I mean, I'd be paying $130 for some Nike shoes and have to pay an additional $70 for import fees. Okay. And then by doing that, it doesn't get stuck in customs.
Right. And what's nice, they figure out the fee.
Yeah. But the problem is they will do that. But the problem is you need to make sure you give a physical address and not a post office, because if I had it shipped to the post office, a lot of times it would never arrive because it would get from Amazon to here and go to FedEx or DHL, and they won't ship to a post office. So you have to make sure you give them a physical address, which is very difficult in Costa Rica. So you need to find somebody that has a business, or if you, if your house is in town, it's not. Anyway, you got to have a very good physical address so they can ship it to you. So yes and no, you can, Amazon will ship it to you, but you're going to pay a lot. Now, you can buy through people like what's called AeroPost. AeroPost will charge you a lot, and I've had just too many problems going through AeroPost, okay, and getting stuck in customs and all that. But there are ways that you can do it, okay?
Now, do we know if Amazon, I know that they will calculate the import
fees,
fee,
yeah.
And they tell you that they include that in the price. But do you think, does Amazon know what is not allowed to be shipped in Costa Rica?
Because if
like
if
let's say
it's
I
not
want
allowed,
to buy
then
a
it
bunch
won't
of
show up.
vitamins,
Yeah,
it
won't show up. Now look, I used to sell vitamins on Amazon, and I couldn't ship it to myself, but I could bring a suitcase with 30 bottles of vitamins and supplements and had no problem. So put it in your suitcase and it's for you. You don't have any problem. Now, let's talk about, because we talked about my personal opinion, sell everything, get rid of everything, unless you have something extremely valuable like tools. Because look, Costa Rica, you can buy tools, but I love DeWalt. I love high quality tools. But if you're going to buy DeWalt tools here, it's going to cost you a fortune. So it's better if you've got a lot of high quality tools, bring it here. You can buy tools here, but look, even sockets and wrenches, it's crap, So anyway, it's very difficult to get quality tools here, okay? So get rid of everything unless you got high quality stuff, okay? And then ship only your high quality stuff. Now,
yeah, and if money's not an issue, you can find it, like you were saying, but it costs a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I tried to go and find some DeWalt batteries, for cordless batteries for your cordless tools and stuff. Very, very hard. I looked all over the place. I needed two. I only found one, and they wanted a fortune for that. And I wanted a charger, couldn't get a charger. It's insane. So, it's difficult. But so let's talk about, you're like, okay, well, Alan, you said get rid of everything, but I don't want to get rid of everything. My furniture came from my grandma, okay, and I want to keep it. Okay, let's talk about shipping to Costa Rica. You can ship to Costa Rica. It is going to cost you a lot, but if you've got a lot of money and you don't mind spending that money, you can ship your stuff. But when you do get ready to ship, understand you got to be very, very detailed. Everything has got to be right. So you want to make sure that you actually talk to whoever you're shipping with and make sure you know exactly what's allowed and what's not allowed. Like you can't bring a refrigerator, can't bring a freezer. There's so many things that you can't bring, okay? And you need to know what you can bring and what you can't bring, okay? You can't bring firearms, okay? There's a lot of things you can't bring. So,
and we weren't joking about the used underwear, like you can't.
No, yeah, that what I joke around a lot, but you cannot have used underwear in your container, otherwise it's a problem. So, and everything has got to be itemized. Now, not only, so let's just say you're meticulous like I am. I am meticulous, okay? I know where everything's at and I itemize stuff, but, and they do that because they're going to make sure that they're going to charge you everything that they're going to charge you for your import fees. you have to think well in advance because it could take you 6 weeks for it to get here. So the deal is you want it to ship long before you come here. But then what happens if it arrives and you're not here? Now you're paying storage fees, and that can get very, very expensive because I'm telling you, Costa Rica says you're a gringo with too much money. You shipped your stuff down here, and they're going to charge you crazy amounts of money for storage. So there's a lot of nightmares associated with shipping your stuff. So if I were going to ship my stuff, this is what I would do. First, like Rebecca said, I'd come to Costa Rica. I'd live here for a year. I'd see, can I adjust to life in Costa Rica? Because I tell people all the time, the hardest thing to living in Costa Rica is knowing the custom. If you can understand the cultural customs of Costa Rica, that's the thing that's going to drive you nuts. People are just different. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's different. Cajuns are different. I'm a Cajun. I like crawfish. We're Cajun people. We just want to drink our good old Allen's apple juice, sit on the porch, have a good time. It's a culture to be Cajun. Ticos have their own culture. It's very, very different, and it can drive you absolutely nuts when you're not used to that. You've got to understand the culture.
It's slow paced and very laid back. So that's the hardest thing for somebody who's high strung.
Yeah, I'm very high strung, and it's very low pace. Ticos don't ever think about cause and effect. They're not forward thinkers. They're not chess players. They're checker players. They're only thinking about here and now. Very, very different. So you've got to come here, be here a year, live in several different places, decide whether it's good for you or not. Lots and lots of people. Matter of fact, I know a couple right now. They came here, they bought, they shipped their car, and then they left after a year. Now the car is still here, just wasn't worth shipping back. It's all this stuff you've got to find out. So if you were going to ship, come here, stay for a year, rent, find you a furnished place, or rent and buy cheap furniture. Find out if you like it. If you like it, then ship your stuff. And when it arrives, you're here to get it as soon as it comes, which means you got to go back, pack it all up, ship it, all that good stuff. So it can be done, but you got to be very, very meticulous. And it is going to cost you a lot of money. And it's probably, unless you just have, like I said, stuff that has
sentimental value,
priceless stuff, it's just not worth it. Some things are, I got some stuff that, my tools, and I got a few sentimental things. I got a lot of photo albums, got a lot of stuff. And so I'm just going to start bringing it a little bit at a time. And I'm seriously thinking about just getting me a little schoolie, a little bus, and bringing that stuff over, because it wouldn't be a ton of boxes, and I really think I wouldn't have any problem. I don't know. But anyway, so
yeah, that's Costa Rica is voted one of the happiest places. The people are considered some of the happiest people, for the country, because they're not stressed about the future, and they're enjoying today, and it's slower paced, and it's about family and enjoying life.
Yeah,
that's the whole kind of Por Vida thing, and that's very different from high strung, stress, worrying about the future a lot, which we do need to think about the future. But
most Ticos are not thinking about the future. They don't. They're going to wait until the emergency happens and then take care of it. Okay. It's very, very different. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just giving you the facts. Okay. I got one good neighbor. He's very rare. And we talk all the time, and he's like, he does think ahead. He does think in the future, but he said himself, most Ticos do not think into the future. They're never thinking about tomorrow. They don't think about cause and effect. It's just very, very different. Okay. There is a good thing about it. It's like, pura vida. And that drives me nuts. Pull over on the side of the highway, half in the highway, halfway out of the highway, halfway in. They're not thinking about someone might run them over and they're going to die. They're not worried about that. Pura vida. It's very, 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 very different. Now, Orly says, would you guys like to live in another country other than Costa Rica? I haven't done a whole lot of research. And the only way that I would live in another Costa Rica, I can still have a lot of freedoms. I can pretty much do whatever I want to. It's got the right environment for growing 365 days out of the year. The only place that I know of, based on what tiny bit of research, based on videos I've watched, is Poland. I think Poland said they have no problem with immigrants. They have no problem with, because they got a tight, they don't put up none of this craziness.
They
okay?
also have a very cold winter.
But see, I don't want to be in a cold winter.
Right. We
See?
came here for the
We came here for the weather.
We didn't come when it was any kind of
Right.
And
I wouldn't go to Panama because they're not nearly as friendly to me. They got I see a lot of military with guns, and I ran into problems in Panama. So anyway, I don't think I would ever move anywhere else. And I think that's really the answer to your question is, would we live in another country? But not unless I could find something like Costa Rica where I could plant 365 days out of the year.
Yeah, and Panama is not as expensive.
Yeah, Panama's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, look, any Central America country is cheaper than Costa Rica.
Yeah, you can solve that by living close to the Panamanian border and kind of going across. We've looked at Belize because their primary languages, or is it their primary that's English, or is it their secondary?
No, you're right. In Belize, primary language is English.
Yeah, but the terrain is not what we...
Not enough mountains for me, and I want to be cool.
They don't have a lot of... I mean, they have very, very inland mountains, and we don't want to, But anyway, we've looked at some other places, and no, we definitely settle on Costa Rica. Plus, the flight is, you can get a nonstop flight for a reasonable price, and it's only like, for us to go back to Louisiana or to Houston, it's like a 5-hour trip. It's you think about if you live in Europe, move somewhere.
Yeah, if you live somewhere like the Philippines,
or Spain, or
it could
whatever.
be a long trip.
Yeah, I didn't want to be that far. We're already away from our family, but really, a 5-hour flight and we can be there.
Yeah. So, bottom line is, we're talking about shipping. I personally believe it would be better for you to just get rid of everything and just buy when you get here. Now, you have to understand that if you're going to buy stuff, don't go to San Vito and try to buy stuff. You're going to get crap. So let's just say that you're going to get rid of all your crap, okay? Come to Costa Rica, go to San Jose, buy your stuff, and pay somebody to transport it all back to wherever you're going to live at, or just make trips. And I promise you, in San Jose, you can buy some decent quality, nicer stuff, and you can replace your stuff.
And if you go down to Golfito has
good point.
What's it called?
Tax-free, duty-free.
Duty-free. Yeah, they have duty-free. Now there's rules about it. You got to fill out some paperwork. You got to stay.
And there's only a certain amount of a dollar amount that you can get at one time.
Right. You can only exactly. So there's some rules, but they have some good. One of the best stovetops we got was from Golfito.
Yeah, because it was German made, quality stuff.
So they did have quality things. They had quality sheets. They had
you
quality
can buy
pots and pans. We got some good pillows there.
Yeah.
So.
Now, this person asked, how do you feel about building with wood in San Isidro area, or is steel and concrete the only way to go? Now, you can build with wood, okay? Here's the problem. When you get most of Costa Rica has a lot of termite issues, okay? So if you can build with wood and you can keep it sprayed with chemicals and keep the termites out, great. Now, there's a lot of things you can do. If you're in San Isidro area and you're building with wood, build off the ground. In other words, build on piers instead of a concrete foundation. And if you build on piers off the ground, you don't have a problem with termites coming in, okay? You might still have some bug issues, but not as bad as if you build on the ground. I've been in too many houses where the houses were riddled by the termites, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, in my honest opinion, you'd be way better off building with steel, not concrete. Costa Rica, they build with concrete all over the place because that's what they're used to. That's what they know. It's very easy. You don't need a lot of tools. But, wood is so much nicer, okay? But that's my 2 cents on that. You can build with wood. I would just build with wood and build off the ground. But wood is so expensive.
Especially
But
treated wood. Treated wood is
yeah,
very expensive.
but if Trump gets in, I think the economy is going to get a whole lot better, and I think prices are going to drop, and you won't have to barter with wood now because you can have a 2x4, and it's like, hey, I trade you this 2x4 right here for a car. It's insane. Anyway, so I'm gonna breeze through some of the questions right here. Now, and Phil says that, El Salvador is nice. I don't know a lot about El Salvador, but thanks for that input, Phil. Definitely could be good. And,
the little bit I know about the different countries comes from HGTV, House Hunters International.
She loves HGTV about as much as she likes watching the politics on YouTube. Eduardo lives in Key West, Florida, and he says it's kind of like the Punta area of Jaco, Manuel Antonio. I don't know about that. Key West, Florida, and this is a good point that Eduardo brings up. We like to give the good, the bad, and the ugly about living in Costa Rica. That'd be kind of like if I lived in Key West, Florida, and I told you how awesome it was, but I would never tell you about the hurricanes. Right? That's what a lot of YouTube channels are in Costa Rica. They tell you all the great stuff about Key West, Florida, all the great stuff about living in Florida, oh, how awesome it is. Hurricanes? Oh, no, there ain't no problems with hurricanes. And that's what most channels in Costa Rica are about. They give you all of the good stuff, what you want to hear, talk you into coming, so that, oh, by the way, did you know we help you move to Costa Rica? Yeah, we'll move you to Costa Rica, blah, 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 buy my product and services, okay? So anyway, but that's a good point. Living in Costa Rica is absolutely awesome. We love it. There's a lot of things that it's taken me a lot to get used to, but we absolutely love it here, and we'll probably never, ever, ever leave. Matter of fact, I've already got plans on my calendar for the next 900 years because I got so much stuff to do on the off-grid homestead. She's got a honey-do list for me. I promise you it's going to take me at least 500 years to get done.
Let's hope not.
She just got through telling me today, just talking about, I gotta bring it up here because I thought it was funny. And I didn't know what it was until Doug Dillo answered the question for Karen. Let me find it real quick because I thought it was hilarious. Let me find it real quick. Let me find it. Y'all just bear with me here. It's funny, funny, funny. Wait, it's here. There it is, right there. Karen says, "Donde está Casa la Pipi?" I just breezed over because my Spanish is horrible. Where do you go pee? Well, Doug answered that question for her. Come on, where is it at, Doug? Anyway, Doug said he goes behind a tree. Doug, you've been watching me.
Well, that's another thing about the culture.
My point was, Rebecca told me the other day, you better hurry and get my toilet in the house, doggone it. We're getting ready to move in that house. I want a toilet.
Yeah, toilet.
She's tired of peeing in a bucket.
Coming before the porch.
So anyway, we absolutely enjoy and love being in Costa Rica. And we've been living in this barn for 3 years almost. Okay. Well, no, it has been 3 years.
Yeah, that's hard to imagine.
And it is hard to imagine, but it hadn't been bad. Okay. And see, Karen says, "Where's your house of P?" is a line from the Three Amigos, and I don't know them, so I'm sure it would have been funny.
We didn't watch that movie. It would have been funnier if we knew, huh?
Yeah. So anyway, but hey, we love being in Costa Rica, but there are things that you do need to know. And while some other channel says, "I don't care if you come to Costa Rica or not, just come to my retreat," he's lying. He's lying. He does care. He wants you to come, and he's lying. The truth is, we don't care whether you come to Costa Rica or not, but if you do come to Costa Rica, Rebecca doesn't want you to come to Perez Zeledon because it's her favorite place. But if you do come to Costa Rica, we want you to have the truth, the whole truth, the unbridled truth about living in Costa Rica. And that's the whole reason I started these Unbridled Living in Costa Rica podcasts.
Well, I like San Isidro in Perez Zeledon because it is the perfect size city for me. I know where everything is. The traffic used to not be bad, but everybody,
Santa
a
Fe
lot
was
of
growing.
people are moving there, and they're getting more stores, which is a good thing. But along with that, they're getting like traffic jams, and like it's just a influx of people, and the structure is not, what would you call it? The infrastructure is
Yeah. Not set up
caught
correct.
up
Mhm.
with the influx of people yet, and so it's kind of taking my sweet little perfect little city and making it
Yeah,
where it's
crowded, right?
yeah, like we
Yeah.
won't go shopping on a Saturday anymore
Oh, I hate
because
going to San Isidro on a Saturday.
it is
Now, or
so
Sunday. Oh my
congested.
gosh.
Oh
You know,
my
you go on a
gosh.
Sunday and Walmart's so jam-packed, it's like Christmas or something. You want to shoot yourself.
Yeah, you got to drive around trying to find a parking lot
Yeah.
space in
Now,
Pequeño.
Christy says that, we have a home right near Perez Zeledon in San Rafael Norte. Matter of fact, I just did a job over there not too long ago. I had a great time. That is a secret place right there. That is an awesome place to be in San Rafael Norte. No. I was thinking of San Ramon Norte is where I did a job at. San Ramon. Sorry, I lied. Try not to lie, but sometimes I do. Anyway, but San Ramon Norte is where I was doing a job at. San Rafael, I'm trying to remember where that's at. But anyway, there's so many awesome little bitty communities all around the Perez Zeledon area. So
it's very
I'd like
mountainous.
to hear, I'd like to hear from you, Crystal. How do you like living in Perez Zeledon? And tell me, how long have you been in Perez Zeledon? I mean, we just love this area. We went all over the place. And after living in 25 different houses and locations, I can honestly say that the Perez Zeledon area became my favorite place because it wasn't touristy, practically hardly any tourists.
Lots of natural beauty.
Yeah, natural beauty. I mean,
waterfalls.
It wasn't so raw like San Vito, because you had your Walmart, you could get you could buy almost anything. You had your hospitals, so it wasn't like you in Timbuktu, Egypt. I mean, you could find stuff and get stuff, so it was really nice. So hey, I'd love to hear what you think about Perez Zeledon and how long you've been here.
We say Walmart because not that we're huge Walmart fans, but we talk about Walmart because it is like we can find things that we're used to. We can find great value stuff,
peanut butter, and
we can find name brands that that we're used to. We can see selection of like seasonings and different things that we're used to. So compared to like
I mean, look,
now that we have Pequeño, I really like that because if you want to decorate, there's more
so
of a
much selection. I mean, in all honesty, look, when I was in the United States, I hate Walmart. And why is that? Because Walmart kills the little stores, okay? But when you're in Costa Rica, there's little stores all over the place, and Walmart doesn't kill the little stores. Why? Because in Costa Rica, location means nothing because of the majority of the people don't have vehicles and they just walk to the little stores. So the little stores aren't killed by Walmart. But coming to Costa Rica, when you have a Walmart, you can find things that you just can't find otherwise. Now, here's a good comment right here as we're closing in on the hour. Zedway says, are you guys still plant-based? Okay. I would like to tell you that I'm still 100% plant-based, okay? But I got very, very busy working on the house, and I got very big, we're 2 hours away from the store, and I do all the cooking. And I got to where I wanted to get in the house so much, I quit cooking, and we ended up eating a ton of chicken sandwiches, and I hate eating chicken.
We don't have our garden going
We don't,
yet.
So
not good, at least.
And so I'm going to be doing a video pretty soon talking about all of this, because I can tell you that right now I'm not anywhere near as healthy as I was because I've not been eating healthy food. Okay. So, and I've been eating a lot of chicken, and chicken's it's terrible for you. So eventually when we get into the house, which is not going to be too long, I hope a couple of weeks, we'll be going back to 100% plant-based, going back to where we're eating healthy food, healthy plants, cooking, and I'll get off the meat. Now, I like meat. There's nothing wrong with meat if you can grow your own meat.
Organic is not bad for you. It's just
it's
you're
finding true
concerned,
organic.
right? You're concerned we don't know where the chickens come from, and we've seen so many, things about them injecting chickens.
Yeah,
that's in the United States, though. We don't know if they do that here.
Well, I've seen some chicken places in Costa Rica, and it's almost the same. Is it as bad? I don't know. So what I can tell you is that I can tell you that, and I was telling Rebecca this the other day. I have never felt as good as I did whenever I was 100% plant-based, and I was eating totally. I was vegetarian 100%, but eating a little fish. Okay, I kind of feel like it's kind of hard to contaminate a fish. Okay, as long as you're not getting farmed fish and farmed tilapia. Okay, so anyway, I can't wait to do a video on that, and I can't wait to actually share with you the experiment or what I'm going to be doing once we move in the house. Okay, so anyway. I'm kind of scanning through here. This is good. This is good, Pam. Pam's like, Thomas said, if you're such a good cook, why is he buying? Because he ain't up here. If he comes to the house, I'll cook for you. He got to bring the suitcase full of, or the ice chest full of Island's apple juice. I'll cook for you. Hey, do you want some gumbo? Woo, boy, get out of town. We're going to have a Cajun night. Hey, I do like to cook. Oh, look, no, get out of town. I cannot believe this guy put this up. The Game Changers is a great documentary about eating healthy. Hey, this is the exact documentary I watched, because I'm telling you, before that documentary, I was drinking a gallon of milk a week because I love fresh squeezed milk. My neighbors had cows. I'd go get a gallon of milk from them every week. I'd get a bunch of eggs from them, and I love eating meat. Man, nobody cooks a better hamburger or a better steak than I do. But I watched that documentary, and I was shocked. I'm like, it ain't no way. No way. And, of course, I was in the gym, and I was pumping iron because I'm a certified personal trainer. So I challenged myself to see, okay, the Game Changers is great. I don't believe it. I'm going to go plant-based and see what the difference is. I'm telling you, 2 to 3 weeks after being 100% vegetarian, no meat, only vegetarian and a little fish, I was lifting more weights. I was healthy. I felt great. I look 10 years younger than I look today. I'm telling you, I felt great. And so you should watch The Game Changers. It's an amazing documentary. I don't think it's on Netflix. I think you have to actually get it on maybe Amazon Prime. Great video. I'm glad you shared that. Okay. So anyway, I can't believe that we are already over the hour. If I did not answer your question, now's the time to put it in real quick before I call it a night. We always have a great time sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly. Remember, next week, I do have a business function I'm going to, so I won't be here, but I can't wait to see you guys in a couple of weeks, kind of give you an update on what we did accomplish at the Off-Grid Homestead. I've got Rebecca a list of stuff to do while I'm gone. Anyway, hey, folks, greatly enjoyed visiting with you guys. The guy, he says, I've been 100% vegetarian for 47 years, not even fish. Woo! Kudos, man. You need to send me a picture. I want to know what you look like after. You're probably like 110 years old. I want to see what you look like after 47 years of vegetarian. I can guarantee you he looks good. So anyway, folks, greatly appreciate all you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night. Can't wait to see you in about 2 weeks when we do the Unbridled Living in Costa Rica all over again.
Enjoyed it again. Thank you, guys. Ciao.